This is a 16-inch MacBook Pro with an M2 Max chip. This is a Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Ultra. Now, Samsung wants this to be the answer to this, but is it? Let's find out. The Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Ultra is a sleek and elegant laptop. As you can see here, it is extremely thin. Even though it's almost 4 pounds, it doesn't feel like it because of the weight distribution. As a matter of fact, it's actually 1 pound less than the MacBook Pro 16-inch, which is kind of a big deal if you're gonna be carrying this thing around wherever you're going. While I like the way the MacBook Pro 16-inch looks, don't get me wrong, it looks great. I really like the way this one looks just because it's so nondescript. I'm not really into like laptops that call too much attention to themselves. The only real mark it has is the Samsung logo you can see right there. But other than that, as you can see, it's all graphite, which is a really nice finish, machined aluminum, and it just looks fantastic. Like whether you're in the office, in a cafe, at home, wherever, you could open it easily with one hand, no problem, which is kind of a big deal. As far as ports, you get a lot of them. So right here on this side, as you can see, we have 2 USB-C ports, Thunderbolt 4, HDMI cable, which is very important if you want to plug this into a external monitor. On this side here, we have an USB-A port in case you have an older device. Got a micro SD slot right there. And of course, a headphone jack. A lot of modern laptops seem to not use headphone jacks anymore because the general consensus is people use Bluetooth devices. That's all well and good. I like having a headphone jack there, and I think a lot of people will too. The Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Ultra has a 16-inch OLED display, 120 hertz, which is always nice, and also another way that you can see they're trying to go after the MacBook Pro in that instance. I think the display is great. I watched a couple of trailers on it, played games on it. We're gonna talk about that later, and everything just looks so crisp. And as I understand it, this is the same type of technology they use on the more recent Samsung Galaxy S20 phones, particularly the 22 and 23. And it's kind of cool to see that type of technology used for such a big screen. It's one of my favorite aspects of this laptop. When it comes to how I compare it to the mini LED display, to me, it's close. It's like, it looks as good as the one on the MacBook Pro. As a matter of fact, even in our testing, the color reproduction on both of them is almost on par. It's hard, like objectively, it's hard to say which one is better than the other. It would be easier if one was just like really, really bad, but this one is, I would say, as good as the Apple mini LED display. Okay, let's talk about audio quality. Generally, laptops don't produce the greatest sound. When it comes to podcasts and stuff like that, it's fine, but with music, I'm not a fan. You know, very thin sound overall with some laptops, basses in there. But the sound on this laptop is great. It's very loud, very punchy. The bass could have been a little bit higher, but I'm a stickler for bass, but I think it sounds really good. With that said, I do believe that the MacBook Pro has better audio quality all around. It's just a lot richer, a little bit louder, and everything just sounds evenly distributed, right? This one, the Samsung laptop, good, but it kind of tends to be a little thin. This one just has richer sound, but you're not going to be disappointed if you're using these speakers to listen to podcasts or content like that. All right, let's talk about performance, and this is the big sticking point. As a matter of fact, this may be the deciding factor for some people. Effectively, do you want to play video games or do you want to video edit? You could do both on this, but let's get into that. Let's talk about gaming first. The Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Ultra packs the latest Intel CPUs and NVIDIA GPUs, to be specific. 13th gen Intel Core CPUs, RTX 40 series GPUs. This is the model we reviewed. This came with an i7 Intel Core CPU and an RTX 4050, but you could get it up to an i9 Core CPU and an RTX 70 GPU. So very powerful stuff. Absolutely great for gaming, as I could attest to. Now, what I'm going to say isn't a secret. MacBook Pro, especially with the M2 Max chip, absolutely a monster when it comes to performance, right? The problem is there's not a lot of high-end games like that that actually are available for Mac, just because, for example, it's Steam stores, for the lack of a better term, just barren compared to what you'll find on a proper Windows laptop like the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Ultra. If you have games that are optimized for, Apple Silicon, you're gonna have a great time, but very few and far between. I can't play Doom Eternal on this. I can't play Cyberpunk on this. I can't play Marvel Spider-Man on this. So that's, to me as a gamer, that's a big deal. Like, I would love if Apple had that kind of support, but at the moment it doesn't. So that's why this, and I recently wrote an article about this is why I think this is actually one of the best gaming laptops released this year. It doesn't look like a gaming laptop. It's not advertised as a gaming laptop, but it really hits all the marks if you're a gamer. As far as battery life is concerned, according to our benchmarks, the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 lasts for 10 hours and 1 minute. I know that's kind of nitpicky, but 10 hours, which is pretty good. That's about average now. 8 hours used to actually be the gold standard for laptop life, but now, thanks to Apple, the bar has been raised significantly. But 10 hours, that's pretty good. Now, this bad boy, the MacBook 16-inch, very different story. So Apple, like, because of the Apple Silicon, they're just doing wonders when it comes to battery life. But this one wouldn't disappoint you at all. It could run a little bit hot because it is, at the end of the day, effectively a gaming laptop with all the, the crazy specs it has. So if you leave it on the desk, you're not even gonna notice it. The fans may be a little bothersome, but yeah, as far as battery life is concerned, Samsung did great, but you are not beating the Apple MacBook 16-inch. So what are my overall impressions? This is my favorite laptop of the year so far. I love the design. It's just very nondescript. It's super light, which is always good, especially for someone like me who travels a lot between work and home and all that other stuff. And the biggest thing for me, obviously, is the gaming. I'm a big gamer, so I like the fact that such a thin laptop is just able to play games like that. This is not built as a gaming laptop. That's why I'm even more amazed by what it could offer. They are marketing it more towards content creators. For me, like, this is the low-key best gaming laptop you can get right now. If you want to use this as your desktop replacement, it's actually pretty viable just because of how much power it offers and also portability. So I think it's fantastic in that sense. But the main question is, do you want to get this over the MacBook 16-inch? It depends, right? There's a couple factors. First one is, what do you like more? Do you like Windows or do you like Mac OS, right? I've always been traditionally a Windows guy, so I would kind of opt for this. But obviously I use MacBooks a lot for work and everything. To me, this offers a little bit more of a complete package. In that sense, I would say I would prefer this over the MacBook Pro 16-inch, but obviously if you are an Apple fan, if you have things like the Apple Watch and the iPhone and all that, the MacBook may be a better choice just because of the interoperability. So if you're already in the Apple ecosystem, the 16-inch MacBook Pro is a no-brainer. And if you don't really care about gaming, you just want like a really good solid laptop that's going to last you for many years, the 16-inch MacBook Pro and even the 14-inch one as well will do you right. You're not going to go wrong with that. As far as price is concerned, this is where may lose some people. This is not a cheap laptop. To start, it is $21.99, and you can go up as high as $29.99 for the super decked out one. Those prices are actually higher than the entry-level new MacBook Pros. The 14-inch MacBook Pro starts at $19.99, and the 16-inch starts at $24.99, right? But I would argue that you actually get more value out of this just because of the fact you could play video games on it, and the fact it's such a thin laptop compared to not only MacBooks but also gaming laptops in general. $21.99, that is admittedly a lot. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that, but I still think it's worth the value just because of everything it provides. Okay guys, so that's what I think of the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Ultra. For more from Tom's Guide, make sure you follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. For Tom's Guide, I was Tony Polanco, signing out. Have a good one.